Hey there friends, and welcome to my channel and to today's video. So today what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be talking about palettes for beginners. Palettes that I think are perfect for people that are just getting into makeup and that don't have a lot of makeup in their collection and they don't really know where to start. I wanted to sit down and talk about palettes that I think would be great if you're just getting started with makeup. Now, if you like this video idea, I did steal this video idea from my friend Heather Austin here on YouTube. She did this video the other day and I really thought it was a great video because it really did discuss what most beginners look for when they're getting into makeup. They're looking for a good formula. They're looking for something that's easy to use. They're looking for something that'll help them learn without being too overwhelming. And I really liked what she offered. Now, I have some of these palettes might also be the same as Heather's, but I'm going to link Heather's video in case you want any other ideas. Some people might see you wearing makeup and ask themselves, oh, I wish I could wear makeup too. Well, maybe you can suggest some of these palettes to them. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So hi, welcome if you're new. My name is Amy. This is Deli Mama Beauty. On this channel, we love to talk about eyeshadow palettes. That's our favorite topic of conversation. If you love eyeshadow, then you are here because you also love eyeshadow. And I also love bargain and drugstore beauty. So things like discount stores like TJ Maxx. I have recently found a Dollar Tree channel. So I'm gonna start focusing on some of really affordable makeup here soon because I'm really enjoying Jessica's content. I will also leave her name in the description box. Her name is Jessica, the Dollar Diva, and she's great. And so I'm going to be maybe bringing back some of my series, my old series that I used to do as I get some new and affordable makeup to show you guys. So I'm super excited about that. And I hope you guys will stick around, become part of the DMB crew. You can do that really easily. You can click the subscribe button and the notification bell next to it so you're informed of when I post future videos. And also don't forget to like this video, watching it all the way through so you can see all 10 of these palettes and learn something new if you don't know about these palettes already. And I would love to have you guys be part of the DMB crew, so please think about subscribing as well. Okay, we're going to start. This is in no particular order. I did kind of try to organize these palettes based on what I think would be the easiest to the most challenging in terms of these 10 palettes, but I always like to use a round number of 10. All of these palettes are still available to purchase. Some may be out of stock. I don't think any of them are. To be honest with you, I'm pretty sure none of them are out of stock right now. So if you see anything that you like here, I do not have any affiliate codes. I do not use affiliate links on my channel. I probably should. I probably should figure that out, but I haven't quite figured that out yet. So once I figure that out, great. I'm not really here to make money. I'm here to just share my love of makeup with you. So I hope you guys are fun and you're gonna love this video today. So the first palette I wanna talk about is the palette that I'm wearing on my eyes. I think this is really stunning. It's a very good basic staple starter neutral palette. This is the Love's Journey palette from Sydney Grace Cosmetics. I enjoy this a lot. Now, this look turned out much more gray than I thought it would, but I did pretty much stick to the bottom row with the exception of this shade right up here. So I used this shade in my outer corner. I blended this over it, and I used this shade for my inner portion of my lid. I also used a little bit of this in the brow bone. It's a nice satin shade, and this in the inner portion of my lid. And I think it's a really great palette for a lot of reasons. First of all, the formula. Right here, this formula is so easy to use. It's very forgiving, and the shimmers are very forgiving. If you don't want something that's super shimmery, something that's, especially if you're older, sometimes some of those really glittery, chunky shimmers can look a little bit difficult. It can be a little bit difficult for you to wear on your eyes. These are nice, satiny, just traditional shimmers. Really easy to wear, really pretty, really soft. Nice work appropriate palette. You've got some warmer tones across the top, some cooler tones across the bottom. And these kind of with a yellow undertone, I wouldn't necessarily call them warm. I would call them more of a neutral. So you have warmer neutrals on the top, regular neutrals, and then cool neutrals on the bottom. And I really like that you have that diversity in this. You have a nice combination of mattes and shimmers. Where this palette really shines are their mattes. The mattes are an exemplary formula. They're so pigmented and they blend so well. like rival Blend Bunny matte well. Like that's how much I love these mattes. And like I said, the shimmers are nice basic shimmers. So if you're the kind of person that wants to do more matte looks or wants to do shimmer that's just pretty and easy and nice and soft and doesn't make your eyes look ultra textured or isn't super metallic, this is the palette for you. So this is Love's Journey from Sydney Grace. Okay, so the next palette I'm going to mention is also a really good staple neutral palette. I think this is a really good one. This is the Soft Glam from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is really, really nice. A much more warm tone palette, but you do have a couple of cooler or neutral tones in here. But what I love about this is that it really does have a good gradient. You have some nice, you have like a cooler matte transition shade, you have a warmer transition shade, you have a black in here, you have a deep brown in here, and you have some rich colors. You have the rose, like the mulberry shade up here. These shimmers, super soft, super, you know, just really pretty on the eyes, but boy are they fragile. So you have to be very, very careful. I've had to repress them multiple times. So these shimmers are very, very fragile. But the nice thing about Anastasia is if you've never used Anastasia or if you've never worn eyeshadow before, and if you wanted to recommend something for a beginner, I think this formula is really, really good. She's kind of shied away from these 16 pan palettes now. She's doing like 12 pan palettes. I prefer these older ones that they had. I have quite a few of them. But what I like about this one is that it's kind of a cross between a neutral and a colorful, but it's very easy colors. You can never go wrong with a good cranberry shade, this mulberry shade. The range of the shimmers is absolutely stunning. There are some repeat shades across Anastasia's palettes from their older palettes, but the formula of these are very loosely pressed, so they have more kick up, and they're very pigmented, but they blend so easily because they're soft. So there's that. Okay, now this is probably one of my favorite palettes in my collection, and I say that in all sincerity because it really, really is a very diverse neutral palette with some twists and some color in it, but it's so approachable for people that are new to makeup, and the formula is just impeccable. This is the Blend Money All Done Up palette. I adore this palette. I did a look yesterday. I was going to film this video yesterday and it didn't quite happen. If I think about it, I'll put a photo of the eye look that I created on the screen. But basically, the nice thing I like about Blend Money is, do you remember those eyeshadow quads that, you know, Wet n Wild used to do, or that Maybelline used to do, where they would they would like put an imprint in the shade, or they would put directions about number 1 shadow goes here, number 2 shadow goes here, number 3 shadow goes here. So basically, this is like, if you wanted to just break this down and you're new to makeup, you have 5 complete eye looks, 1 from each column. Now, me personally, I like to mix and match. So like yesterday, I used this in my outer corner. I used this in my inner corner. I used this purpley gray to blend it out. And I used this gold on the lid, and I used the pink on the lid. It was a very pretty look. But what I like about this is that you've got, the formula is so good. The blends blendability, oh my gosh, I can speak today, of these mattes is just superb. You have a nice range of tones. Now, like I said, you've got this khaki olivey shade. You've got a warmer brown. You've got this mustard. You do have a green. You have color in here, but it is so chic and approachable for people that aren't really sure what they want to do, and they're pigmented. If you wanted to do a light, easy look, you can do that. You know, skip this dark row for the drama. You can do all matte looks. It's so versatile, and I absolutely love Blend Money for, you know, this is one of my favorite Blend Money palettes for sure. The next one I'm going to mention is the Fantasy Cosmetica Fighter palette. I love this one too. This was in my recent random rankings video series that I like to do, and I love Fantasy Cosmetica. Now, these shimmers, whereas like, you know, some of the other shimmers I've mentioned so far are more just kind of that satiny, shiny, foiled metallic. These are so like, not foiled, but they're easy and very pretty on the eyes, and very gentle and delicate on the eyes. These have more These have more punch to them. So what I like about this is that you've got the deep matte, you've got the matte to blend it out. You have this as well and this as well. You can go all cool, you can go all warm, you can do cool and warm, you can mix and match, and it's kind of like a mixed metals situation with the shimmers, and some of them have flips to them because some of them are duochromes. I really enjoy this. So this, like as you'll see, these palettes are getting a little bit more advanced in terms of their color story, but once you know which colors you're supposed to put where traditionally, I think it becomes easier as you go along to figure out which palettes work best for you and your look. So you can really, you can make this pool kind of plummy, you can make this pool really brown and bronzy, you can make this pool kind of cool and blue. It's very unique and very, very fun. I really enjoy Fantasy Cosmetica, as you guys well know, great indie brand. Okay, the next palette I'm going to mention is another ABH palette. This is the Norvina palette. Now I put this in here because I think when people start to use color, the most approachable colors for people are pink and purple because they go really well with brown. And so when you have a palette like this, you really have a very soft, elegant pink purple color story with the neutrals to really make it very easy and approachable for colors, because these colors look good on just about everybody. Pink and purple look good just on just about everybody. And so what's nice about it is that this is all matte on the bottom and all shimmer on the top. And what's nice about it is you do have some neutral tones. So if you just wanted to just do neutral looks, you could. But if you wanted to experiment with some purples and some pinks and incorporate those into looks, I think that you would be very, very pleasantly surprised with how easy this is to use. Now, because I told you about Soft Glam. The Soft Glam, this is the same formula as the Soft Glam. The mattes are very, everything's very loosely pressed. So you have no problem picking anything up on a brush at all. These are a little powdery, so you have to tap your brush off before you apply. These are shimmers that are good with a finger because, I mean, they're very smushy. They're very smushy, like they're more smushy than a ColourPop Super Shock smushy. They're very delicate and fragile. This is a gorgeous palette. I think it's beautiful for somebody that wants to approach color, wants a nice romantic look, doesn't want something too overpowering, but wants something a little bit different than neutrals. Norvina. Next one. This is a palette from Nomad. I'm mentioning two palettes from Nomad back to back. This is the Nomad Hudson Valley palette. Now I'm mentioning this one before the other one that I'm going to mention. This one is really quite colorful, but from my perspective as a person who likes colorful eyeshadow, another thing that I find are easy to use color-wise are browns with greens with browns, okay? You also have yellows and oranges. Very, very easy to use. This nice kind of milk chocolatey shade down here, very, very easy to use. It's like a rosy brown. Goes really, really well with some of these pumpkin-y shades. You've got nice cranberry down here, like I said. So yes, this is more colorful, but I really do think if you're starting makeup and you want to have a diverse selection of colors, then this is a good place to go. I love Nomad. They're one of my favorite brands. You guys know this. But what I like about Nomad's palettes is they always blend cool with warm. They always do it. This is more warm than cool, but you do have some cooler shades over here. This is definitely a cool brown, but you can wear this brown with the oranges and stuff like that. It's really, really a nice palette. So, as I was saying with the pinks and purples, another color that's very forgiving for new makeup wearers is green. And if you really blend the green with browns, I think that it makes it a very, very easy color combination to pull off. So I'm mentioning the Okavango Safari palette by Nomad. This is another Nomad palette. I love this. You have cooler tones on the bottom. Like I said, you have a green row in the middle. You got this mustard on the end, and the rest of these shades they lean green. And then you have a warmer row at the top, but you have some blushy shade right. You have like a blushy shade right here. This is so much fun. This is so much fun because it's very neutral with pops of green. You can really make this colorful. You can make this neutral. You can do cool tone look. You can do a warm tone look. It offers a lot of versatility. So I really think this is a great palette. I know that this one has been on sale along with the Monteverde Cloud Forest. So if you go to Nomad, I believe they're selling this as a bundle for 30% off. So I would get it. And now if that's something that you were thinking that you might want, I wouldn't hesitate to go. But this is one of my absolute favorites. I love Nomad. Don't tell me to pick a favorite because it changes from day to day. But this is really, really fun. And I love their travel theme. So that's a good one for people to start with. Another palette that mixes some neutrals with greens that I think is really, really easy to use is the Druid palette from Fantasy Cosmetica. This is another palette from Fantasy Cosmetica. This one leans a little bit more berry green, but you do have some neutral tones in here that make it easy and approachable. And like I said, the way I'm mentioning these palettes is kind of how in the order that I would use them if I was learning. I might interchange the Hudson Valley and the Okavango Safari for each other, but I wanted to mention the Okavango Safari and this one back to back because of the green theme that you got going on here. These eyeshadows, these shimmers are stunning. If you ever needed special shades, I'm telling you, and you look at some of these other brands and their price tag is like $65, $75, $85 for a palette with special shades, I just think that your best starting point is to go with Fantasy Cosmetica and buy a few of their palettes if you're looking for special shades. If you really want to be part of the duochrome, multichrome crew, holochrome, whatever, this is the brand to start with because it's affordable and it's reasonable. And me personally, I'm not the hugest fan of duochromes and multichromes only because sometimes, you know, you want them to shift the one way and it wears well that way with that look, but then it does the other shift and then it looks like it doesn't belong there. And it's not so much, I don't really feel like I need the extra pizzazz myself. So anyway, there's that. So this one is the Druid palette from Fantasy Cosmetica. This is one of my absolute favorite palettes in my collection. I did not mention it in this year's If I Could Only Keep 10 Palettes video because I've mentioned it in every other one that I've done. But this is still available and it is still so, so good. This is the Secret palette from Nabla. Nabla, I don't know what happened, but Nabla kind of fell off the face of the earth. I haven't seen Nabla do very much these days. This is one of my favorite palettes. I have very similar to some of the other palettes. I have some cool tones, I have some warm tones, and I have pops of color, which makes this so approachable on so many different ways. So, because you can use the black with the blue, you can use the blue with the plum, like this is like a plummy brown. I love plummy browns. They're like my favorite shades. I sometimes really, really like as far as a neutral goes, a deep plummy brown is my favorite because it can lean brown or plum depending on what you wear it with. I have some pretty shimmers in here. This one's kind of a topper. I have some satins in here, which that I'm not such a fan of. But if you're not somebody that likes a really powerful shimmer and you want something that's just a little bit glossy, little bit shiny, adds a little bit of dimension, this palette has got some good satins in it. But I love this. I really have loved this for a long time. It's the only palette, oopsie, sorry, my bad. It's the only palette that I have from Nabla, but I really do think it's a good beginner palette, especially if you want a little bit of color. The last palette I'm going to mention is one of my favorites. If you look at my background, I mean, there's Darth Vader right there, there's R2 over here, the Star Wars palette. Now, this one does have some really bright pops in it. So this has some blue in it, which blue is to me, is the most frightening color for people to pull off because I think blue eyeshadow gets a bad rap. Red is also hard for some people to pull off because they're so bright and they're the primary colors. But what I love about this is that they have given us the neutrals to go with it. The way this is curated has really made a lot of sense in terms of like the Star Wars IP. I love the swirly shades and it's just a really, really good palette. This formula right here from ColourPop is good as well. So ColourPop's formula is semi-inconsistent. Like sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not so good. This one was excellent. So For me, you know, like, I think most people would probably not gravitate towards the reds and the blues, and they would use everything else, but they're there if you want to use them. And what I love about this is this red is a deep, like, it's a deep, like, cranberry red. And you got this beautiful red shimmer. It's a really great palette, you guys, but it's the last one I'm mentioning because it's probably, you know, would look a little intimidating for somebody who's new to makeup. But those, my friends, are my 10 palettes that I would recommend to a new makeup wearer. I think they're really great for beginners, and I think that if you wanted to suggest something to somebody, if they wanted something very basic, all the way up to something basic with some pops of color, just to make it fun as they're learning, then there you go. Those are my 10 palette recommendations for beginners. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video today. I would love for you guys to leave me a bear, okay? I want you to leave me a bear for the Druid palette, okay? The Druid, you know, when I played World of Warcraft, I was a Druid, and I would always have bear form, and I remember having stealth form too, but I would use my bear form a lot when I would attack. And so this palette is fond. I have fond memories of this palette because this reminds me of me when I played World of Warcraft. So leave me a bear if you've made it all the way to the end of this video. I will have I will have all of these palettes linked down below. They are all still available. Once again, there is no affiliate codes, no affiliate links for these. But if you want to get, you know, you want to show this to a new makeup wearer, make sure you share it with them. And there's a lot of valuable information in this video, and I'm glad that you stuck around to the end and leave me that bear emoji. So I'm going to leave you now, and I'm going to say, Borje Finger Hearts, I purple you. You're awesome and amazing. I forgot to turn on my light yet again. Lord have mercy, I always forget that. Anyway, I want you guys to remember to love yourself. I want you to remember that a happy you and a fulfilled you is best for those that you're trying to serve. It's important that your cup is full, or that your pitcher is full, so you can fill somebody else's pitcher. I think I heard that analogy somewhere recently. Can't remember where. Probably Dr. John Deloney. But yeah, you know, you want to make sure that you can fill somebody else's cup. You can't fill somebody else's cup if your cup isn't full, right? So make sure that you love yourself. Fill your cup. Let that cup spill over and love others as Jesus has loved you. Remember to treat others as you would like to be treated. Very important. It's the golden rule, and it's the golden rule for a reason. It's because we need to all love one another, get along in this world, be patient with one another, kind with one another, and listen to one another. Okay? So remember, I said, Borje, love yourself, love others. May God bless you. And may the force be with you always. And that is it. TTFN, y'all. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.